So, Happy New Year, everyone. Let me start by sharing something personal with you. So, last week, it's like December last week, we took a road trip to visit all the Arupadai Vidu, the six sacred temples of Lord Muruga. And this is spread across different towns in Tamil Nadu, right? And long drives, very tight schedule, set plans. So one of our stops was Madurai, Tiruprankuntram, Murugan temple. I really wanted to visit the Madurai Meenakshi temple, but it's a peak season, Margari month. I knew from this past experience it'll be like super crowded, and visiting the temple it takes like a couple of hours for sure, and sometimes even more. And we didn't have that time. So deep down, I told myself, not this time. So while checking into our hotel, I casually asked one of the managers there, like, do you have any contacts in Meenakshi Amman temple, like for special darshan? He looked at me and smiled politely. He said, sir, lakhs of people. The average waiting time is 3 to 4 hours. And then he paused for a minute and he said, like, can you share your number? I'll check and I'll get back to you. I gave my number. Honestly, I didn't expect anything. I already had accepted that I'm not going to visit Meenakshi Amman temple this time. Maybe some other time. So around 3 p.m., I got a call. And I didn't realize that my phone was in this driving mode. It's like if the number is not in your contact, you don't get, the call will get auto-rejected first. Only if the person repeatedly calls, like the second time if the person calls, only then it rings. So this person tried calling me for more than once. So the phone rang and I picked up the call. A nice, calm voice introduced himself on the other side and he said, I got your number from so-and-so and would you like to come for darshan now? I was like, now? He said, yeah, please come exactly at 4:15 p.m. I'll share the location near the North Tower. There's a spot, just please come there. My first thought was, okay, he's probably an agent. If you ever been to Madurai temple, there are a lot of, those middlemen agents there, right? And the pricing for darshan changes depending on the crowd. During peak season, there is such pricing and all. But something about this person, his voice felt genuine. I said, yes, we are coming. So we reached the location at exactly 4:15 p.m. and I called him. He said, so 5 minutes, I'm coming. So when he arrived, I was really surprised. He was not an agent. He was an actual priest from the Meenakshi Amman temple. Not just any priest, but from the family that has been allowed to perform Pooja for generations. So he took us inside the temple. All the doors were open. Nobody stopped us anywhere. And if you visited the Meenakshi temple before, you'll understand what I mean. So normally darshan there is like a couple of seconds, less than 60 seconds. Sometimes even less than that, they'll push you forward. We barely get to see Devi. But this time, we stood there, we did Sankalpa, we prayed properly, we received prasadam directly from Garbhagudi, and even more, he explained a lot of things about the temple, which we never knew before. He spent a good amount of time with us. So his family has been performing puja here for generations, centuries actually. We felt beyond blessed. It was a great experience. So the point I want to make here is, it's not we who decide to see her. If she decides, you will be there. She's the queen of Madurai. She decided that I should visit her before going anywhere in Madurai. So we ended up visiting Meenakshi Amman before going to Tiruprankuntram. That's why I want to start this year by sharing a video about Madurai Meenakshi Amman. So let's visit the divine city of Meenakshi
सत्किरीटरुचिरां पूर्णेन्दुवक्त्रप्रभां सिञ्जन्नूपुरकिङ्किणी मणिधरां पद्मप्रभाभासुरा सर्वाभीष्टफलप्रदां गिरिसुतां वाणीरमासेवितां मीनाक्षीं प्रणतोऽस्मि सन्ततमहं कारुण्य.
Madurai is one of the oldest cities in the world, thousands of years. So there's a beautiful legend about its origin. Long ago, Madurai was actually a forest, a big forest. It was called Kadambavan. She is known as Kadamba Vasini. Right? So one day a farmer was walking through this forest and he saw something unusual, something unbelievable. He saw Lord Indra, the king of the gods, worshipping a Swayambhu Lingam under a Kadampa tree. The farmer was surprised, shocked. He immediately went to tell king at the time. So the king, his name is Kulashekara Pandya. The Pandya kings were ruling at the time. And he was a great Shiva devotee. He came with everybody. He cleared the forest and built a temple around the lingam. And that's the origin of the place. And slowly people settled around that place. Now there's a beautiful thing to the whole story. So during the temple's opening, it is said the Lord Shiva himself appeared. And as he stood there, drops of nectar, amrit, fell from his hair into the land. And because of that sweetness, amrit, nectar in that, it's called Madurai, because Maduram means sweet. So that's the background. So Madurai has rich history. It was ruled by many famous dynasties, kings, Pandyas, Chola kings, Vijayanagara dynasty, a lot of rulers. And all of them contributed to the temple's present-day architecture. The temple went through difficult period during British rule, and it was not destroyed, but it was neglected. But after India became independent, devotees came together and bring the temple back to the old glory. And even after thousands of years, right, the temple is still there with all its glory because of one and only one reason. That's the power of Meenakshi. In essence, she is Parvati, the Divine Mother. As we know, Divine Mother appears in different forms, different energies. So let's talk about the background story. So this story is again taking place during Pandya kings. There was a king, a Pandya king. His name was Malayadwaja, and his wife Kanchana Malay. The royal couple, they didn't have children for many years. So they performed a lot of yajnas, pujas, praying for a child. So during one of the yajnas, pujas, a 3-year-old emerged from the fire and sat on the lap of the king. Something interesting about this little girl, she had 3 breasts, and everyone was shocked. The parents were literally worried. And at that moment, a divine voice came from the sky and said, this child is an incarnation of Parvati, and Shiva himself will come and marry her at the right age. It said her 3rd breast will disappear when she meets her destined husband. So that's Meenakshi. Meenakshi was trained in warfare, and she was crowned as the queen of Pandya kingdom after her father died. And she conquered the whole world with her extraordinary war skills. And she was a great leader. And last she went to Kailasha to conquer Kailasha. There she met Shiva. The moment their eyes met, her 3rd breast vanished. She realized who she was. So Shiva assured Meenakshi that he would come to Madurai to marry her. So Shiva, along with all the gods and all the sages, came to Madurai. And Shiva came as Sundareshwara and married Meenakshi. It was the biggest wedding of the universe. It was like a cosmic celebration, cosmic wedding, and all the gods assembled. Even Vishnu came as her brother, Alagar Kovil, So this wedding is celebrated every year as Chitrai Tiruvira, Chitrai festival, Meenakshi Tirukalyanam. It's during April. April is when this event is celebrated, and it's a grand 10-day long festival. Thousands, millions of people actually come to visit Madurai at this time. Goddess Meenakshi, Parvati, and Lord Sundareshwara, Shiva. And this marriage symbolizes something very deeper. It's not just about husband and wife. It's about the union of Shiva and Shakti. Consciousness and Shakti, energy. So when they unite, there's a balance in the universe. That's why devotees say when Meenakshi and Sundareshwara are together, the world is safe. You experience Shiva Shakti Aikya Rubini, in Madurai temple. You experience both energies in one place. In Madurai, Meenakshi does not stand behind Shiva. She's not even beside him. She stands before him. It's one of the very few temples in India where the goddess is the primary worship in a Shiva temple. And Shiva arrives as her divine consort. The word Meenakshi is very interesting. Meen is fish, Akshi is eyes. Meenakshi is fish's eyes. And Meenakshi's eyes never close. Fish doesn't close its eyes, right? Her eyes are not just eyes, it's a promise that you are seen. She watches over you every second. Her eyes are filled with compassion. It is said Madurai never sleeps because the goddess in the city never sleeps. She's always awake. So Devi Meenakshi is always looking at you. She is looking at us without a blink. When you stand in front of her inside the temple, she doesn't look scary or angry. She looks like a kind mother and also a brave princess at the same time. Meenakshi Amman is in a standing posture, which means she's ready for action. The idol is relatively small but mesmerizing. Her whole body is green, emerald green. And green is the color of life, right? Life, nature, growth, healing. The nature is green. Plants give us oxygen. So Meenakshi is giving that life force to us, to the world. She is also called Maragatha Valli, the emerald goddess. Emerald green is this color. Green color, it's a healing color. It is said it is connected to Mercury, Buddha planet. So if you have any astrological problems and things like that, wearing green, praying to Meenakshi Devi is very good. Mercury. And if you look closely to her face, she's smiling softly. And that smile says all. Don't be afraid, I'm here, everything will be okay. That kind of smile. And many gods have many hands, but minimum 4 hands, right? But Meenakshi Amman has only 2 hands. This is again very important because it means I'm close to you, I'm like you, you can talk to me. She doesn't want to look different. She wants to feel like your own Amma. Right? And in her right hand, she holds a flower, lotus flower, and a beautiful parrot. The parrot usually sits on her right shoulder or in her hand, and it represents wisdom, divine communication, and also love. The parrot symbolizes the divine nature, because it again symbolizes music, dance, poetry. The thing about parrot is parrot repeats what they hear. So people believe the parrot repeats our prayer to Meenakshi. There's even a hall there called Kilimandabam, right? Where you see many parrots. Also, if you are a great devotee, parrots come and talk to you. This is very famous Ramayana in Malayalam. There's a Malayalam version. It's called his name is Tunjatthir Ezhuthachan, and it's called Kilipattu, the Ramayana. So the Ramayana starts by acknowledging the Kili, who is coming and narrating the story to Ezhuthachan. Parrot is energy of Matangi Devi. I'll talk about it later in the same video. Her left hand is open, relaxed, facing down. This means I'm giving you all the blessings. This hand gives you courage, protection, and also blessing, love. And she's dressed like a queen. She wears silk clothes, gold jewelry, a crown, because she's more than a goddess. She is the empress of Madurai. The whole city belongs to her. Madurai is her royal capital, and the temple is her palace. That's why people say Madurai is not a city with a temple, but Madurai is a temple with a city. Actually, when we were talking to this priest, he was saying that only pure silk saris are accepted here and worn, because she is the queen. Only the best is given to her. So when you're there in front of her, you can actually feel that kindness in her smile. You feel the protection in her gaze, and also royalty in her presence. She's absolutely mesmerizing. This is a very important ritual in Madurai Meenakshi temple, Ardhajama Pooja, the last ritual of the day. Just like how a child says good night to parents, mother and father, the temple also prepares to say good night to the Divine Mother and Father. So inside the temple, Shiva is worshipped as Lord Sundareshwara. At night, the priests gently lift a small icon of Shiva. They place him on a beautiful palanquin, and then Shiva starts moving. They play beautiful music with the drums, flutes and bells. The sound is very divine. Shiva is being taken to Meenakshi Amma's chamber. This is called Palli Arai Seva, the bedtime ritual. It is believed that the divine couple, they converse and spend the night talking, ensuring the world's balance. And at dawn, in the morning, Shiva's icon is brought back to his shrine and the procession, making the start of a new day. This daily Meenakshi Sundareshwara reunion, it reminds devotees that the Divine Mother and Father are eternally together, caring for creation. And this ceremony is very moving if you get to watch it, anytime. So the ritual is teaching something very deep in a very simple way. Shiva is consciousness, stillness, awareness, and Meenakshi represents energy, love, life force. So in this ritual, Shiva goes to Meenakshi, not the other way around. So it's a beautiful symbol that awareness must unite with energy. Stillness must merge with action. It's the divine reunion that actually is the core of everything, the core of creation. The people believe this ritual has special blessings. It is said, it's believed, if you're single and if you attend this puja for 5 consecutive Fridays, it will help you to find a suitable life partner. And for married couples, attending this together is believed to bring deep harmony and blessing in their relationship and strong bonding. In the Tantric tradition, we have Dasa Mahavidyas, and one of them is Matangi, the 9th Vidya, Raja Matangi. Matangi Devi is described as the goddess of wisdom, arts, words, music, knowledge. She is also known as Shamala Devi or Mantrini Devi. She is depicted with emerald green color. She plays the veena. She's like the Tantric Saraswati is what people say, right? And always she has a parrot. This Meenakshi form carries the same energy. We will see a strong Shamala Matangi Devi energy in Madurai Meenakshi. So Meenakshi Devi and Shamala Devi are not separate. They are 2 expressions of the same Divine Mother. So Madurai Meenakshi temple reveals a very beautiful unity. So in the celestial court of the supreme goddess, Lalitha Sahasranamam, Raja Matangi is Mantrini Devi, right? Prime Minister. We spoke about in Lalitha Sahasranamam verses. She handles all the administration of the universe. So when Raja Matangi Devi took a human-like form on earth, she is ruling Madurai as the queen of Madurai. She became Meenakshi. This is why Meenakshi is often called as Mantrini Devi, in the Ashtottaram and all. Both are described as, Marakata Shamala, means having beautiful, dark emerald green complexion. Raja Matangi Devi is the goddess of fine arts, music. Same with Meenakshi Devi. She is also celebrated as the master of 64 kalas, art, and a lot of songs describe her as Devi of art, and holding her, she plays a veena and things like that. The biggest proof is that they are the one and the same is in Meenakshi Ashtotharam. The very first nama in the 108 names, it starts with Om Matangi Namaha. Om Matangi Namaha. So that's how it starts. It's a very beautiful way to look at it. Meenakshi Devi represents the outer world, ruling, kingdom, citizens, managing the material world, while Rajamadangi represents the inner world, which is ruling our thoughts, our speech, spiritual wisdom. So when you stand in front of Meenakshi Devi in Madurai, you are actually not looking at a local queen. You are standing before the 9th Mahavidya, one of the 10 great wisdom goddesses of the universe. Most people come to Madurai Meenakshi temple thinking I'm visiting a famous temple, big temple. But the truth is, you are walking into a carefully designed sacred yantra, geometry. Nothing here is random. Every step is teaching you something. The temple is actually a mandala, like 14 acres, 14 gopurams. The tallest one is almost 170 feet. The entire temple is built like a cosmic diagram. And you enter from an outside world, which is noise, people, crowd, thoughts, your phone. You have to leave the phone outside, your worries, everything. And then you slowly move inward. And each step you become calmer. And this is an intentional design. By the time you reach Meenakshi Amma's sanctum, halfway inside you feel different, because you're walking inside a living Yandra. It has 4 gopurams, the main ones, the big ones. It represents 4 directions and also 4 Vedas. And the street outside, it forms a square. Because the temple is a spiritual center and the city is built around it. And literally, you are actually walking inside a giant sacred yantra. You may not see it, but your body feels it if you're sensitive. A lot of people say, I don't know why, but I feel peaceful here. Even if it is heavily crowded, once you step inside, the deeper you go, you experience a different state of mind. And if you look at the gopurams, you'll see a pattern. At the bottom, you have all these fierce guardian gods. Then humans are there, their struggles, and then the god, the divine form. So it's like climbing up, your consciousness climbing upwards, evolution. Even the colors are intentional. There's the science behind each color there. You can actually spend days or months studying the artwork there. The ceilings are filled with, again, lotus designs. Again, why lotus? Because consciousness unfolds petal by petal. There's a 1,000-pillar hall. You will find zodiac signs, cosmic patterns, all saying that the whole universe is under one roof. The temple is actually a living textbook of spiritual awakening. Every stone teaches, if you listen. Every ritual explains something. The space actually will heal you. But if you just rush and go for your quick darshan, like a checklist spirituality, you will miss it. But if you slow down, if you stop being a tourist, and if you become a real tirthadak, and then something shifts. Because the temple is not outside you, it's inside you. It's a mirror reflecting the universe, your life, your soul. And you realize that Meenakshi temple is not just something to be seen, it's meant to be felt. If you want the experience, like you go there somewhere, sit in some corner there, meditate and chant. Nobody will disturb you. It's huge. And you will experience something magical. If you're entering through the east gopuram, the main gopuram, the very first thing you see is a Vinayagar. First thing we have to do is to pause there, bow down, because nothing begins without him. He removes all the obstacles, so feel that connection with Ganesha. And then you move towards Meenakshi Amman. So there's something very interesting. So any temple you go, you visit, Shiva's temple generally, you first worship Shiva. But here, we visit Meenakshi Amman first, because she is the queen of the city, right? And then Shiva. She is the ruler. She is the heart of the temple. I mean, Shiva waits for her. So to reach the sanctum, you pass through something called an Ashta Shakti Mandapam, the hall of 8 powers. So each step you take there is a step deeper to the main energy. So you'll feel a different energy as you go closer and closer to Meenakshi Amman. And you'll actually get into a meditative state even with a lot of people around. And then you get darshan. And with darshan, it's a two-way connection. While you're looking at her, she's also looking at you without a blink. You know, she can actually see through you. She stands tall, green, radiant. You don't need any words, just stand there in silence. You know, she hears it all. Your soul will connect to her. Om Meenakshi Devi Namaha. Now when you exit from there, there's a passage and you will find the entrance to Sundareshwara's shrine. Sundaresha means the beautiful Lord, and that's exactly Shiva is there. The moment you step inside, you will again feel a shift, because that place, Meenakshi Devi's place is full of light and celebration, but Shiva's space is all about stillness, profound. You know? And interestingly, even there, the lights are dim. If you observe, the atmosphere is very different in Shiva's shrine. You will get that meditative state. Your breathing slows down. So that's the energy there. In less crowded days, you can actually go inside. Just before the Garbhagriha, there's a space. You can even go there and stand there. The lingam is beautiful. Shiva listens. Your thoughts actually will slow down there. Om Namah Shivaya. And then you enter a silver hall, Velli Ambalam there. There you can see Nadaraja Shiva. So unlike other Shiva temples, here Shiva dances with his right leg raised. Why? Because of love, because of devotion, because of a promise he made to a great devotee centuries back. So that's the Shiva you see here, a God who changes his eternal dance for a single devotee's wish. Om Namah Shivaya. So after this darshan, you can wander in the temple. Just wander, that's magical. There are some must-visit places. One is a 1,000-pillar hall. Each pillar is carved differently, and each one is a masterpiece. Ancient artists, they carve their devotion into stone. And if you keep gazing at their work, you actually get goosebumps. It's all about love and commitment of the artist. Even after centuries, people continue to admire their artwork, their masterpiece, because they were created with pure passion and dedication. And there's a art museum there. You'll see a lot of bronze idols, stone stuff, which witnessed centuries of prayers and celebration. Each one carries centuries of worship. And then if you go out near the North Tower, you will find the musical pillars. You tap them, and if you know the right spot, if you have the right touch, each stone pillar produces a different musical note. Think about it, pre-digital age, our ancestors somehow engineered stone to sing. Genius engineering. You can actually see that connection between art, science, and human spirit. And then you leave, you come out, you have Kalyana Mandapam, the hall of marriage where Meenakshi's wedding to Sundareshwara is reenacted every year. It's beautiful, again, artwork, pillars, and each pillar tells a story. If you have time, look for the Kadamba tree in the temple complex. That's the Sthula Vriksham, sacred tree, Devi's favorite tree. She's Kadamba Vasini. And then, of course, the pond, the golden lotus pond. It reflects the sky and the temple tower, and it's a very healing place. The pond is for reflection. You can actually sit and meditate and reflect. You can watch your thoughts. You actually feel light if you sit there for some time. Like the pond is somehow absorbing all your worries. You can also do chanting, and you can actually feel the energy there when you sit there for some time. You are inside Madurai Meenakshi Kshetram, one of the most powerful energy fields in India. People live here feeling strangely calm, uplifted, and transformed without knowing exactly how or why. Don't question it, just receive it. If you have time, one more practice I recommend is go for a prediction. That is like walking around the corridors. it's like a moving meditation, a walking prayer. Try at least the main outer circuit. As you walk, you are literally aligning yourself with the temple's sacred geometry. It's mandala. You are tracing the footsteps of millions of devotees who walked before you. That's a perfect way to complete your visit. You are integrating everything you've experienced in that walk. So before you step out to the noise of the outside world, the Madurai city, just pause one more time. Look back to the towers. Feel what's different inside you compared to when you entered. And now, so that's the difference. That's the temple's gift to you. Carry it home. So that's the energy. There are some places you visit with your eyes, some places you understand with your mind, and then there are places you feel with your soul. Madurai Meenakshi Amman temple is in the third category. It's a living presence. Here the goddess is not remembered, she's experienced. In Madurai, faith is very personal, because here Meenakshi Devi is not a distant deity. She is Meenakshi Thai, mother. And mothers listen, right? Even when you don't know how to speak. That's why here the rituals are different. They are conversations, a dialogue between the human heart and the Divine Mother. Every single day, they've been doing it for centuries. She's alive, she's watching, she's listening, she's responding. Some temples educate you, some temples inspire you, some temples uplift you, but Meenakshi Amman temple, she embraces you. You don't just stand before her, you are received. Just think about it. She has stood there for centuries. Kings, dynasties, empires, they came and they vanished. Invasion, storms, ups and downs. She's still there and she stands there. She's standing there, eyes open, unblinking, waiting for us. You don't decide when to visit Madurai. Meenakshi Amman, she decides when to call you. And when the time is right, she will call you. So may Meenakshi Amman call you to Madurai.
Vishnu Brahma Surendra Sevita Padam Tattva Swarupa Shivam Meenakshim Pranatosmi Santatamaham Karunya Varamidhim Meenakshim Pranatosmi Santatamaham Karunya Varamidhim Meenakshim Pranatosmi Santatamaham Karunya Varamidhim सत्किरीटरुचिरां पूर्णेन्दुभद्रप्रभां सिञ्जन्नूपुरकिङ्किणी मणिधरां पद्म